Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to today's reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. We're reading from chapter 1 of Adi Leela, and we are on verse 57 at the moment. Mukam kaluti vashalam pangum langhate girim yat kripatam ham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Paramananta Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tatsat. All glories to Chintamani and my initiating spiritual master Somagiri. All glories to my instructing spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who wears peacock feathers in his crown under the shade of his lotus feet, which are like desire trees. Jai Shri Radharani enjoys the transcendental mellow of her eternal consort. Purport. This verse is from the Krishna Karnamrita, which was written by a great Vaishnav sannyasi named Bilvamangal Thakur, who is also known as Leela Shuka. He intensely desired to enter into the eternal pastimes of the Lord, and he lived at Vrindavan for 700 years in the vicinity of Brahmakund, a still existing bathing tank in Vrindavan. The history of Bilvamangal Thakur is given in the book called Sri Vallabh Digvijay. He appeared in the 8th century of the Shaka era in the province of Dravid and was the chief disciple of Vishnu Swami. In a list of temples and monasteries kept in Shankaracharya Monastery in Dwarka, Bilvamangal is mentioned as the founder of the Dwarkadhish temple there. He entrusted the service of his deity to Hari Brahmachari, a disciple of Vallabh Bhatta. Bilvamangal Thakur actually entered into the transcendental pastimes of Lord Krishna. He has recorded his transcendental experiences and appreciation in the book known as Krishna Karnamrita. In the beginning of that book, he has offered his obeisances to his different gurus, and it is to be noted that he has adored them all equally. The first spiritual master mentioned is Chintamani, who was one of his instructing spiritual masters because she first showed him the spiritual path. Chintamani was a prostitute with whom Bilvamangal was intimate earlier in his life. She gave him the inspiration to begin on the path of devotional service, and because she convinced him to give up material existence to try for perfection by loving Krishna, he has first offered his respects to her. Next, he offers his respects to his initiating spiritual master Somagiri, and then to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was also his instructing spiritual master. He explicitly mentions Bhagwan, who has peacock feathers on his crown, because the Lord of Vrindavan, Krishna the cowherd boy, used to come to Bilvamangal to talk with him and supply him with milk. In his adoration of Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, he states that Jai Shri, the goddess of fortune, Srimati Radharani, takes shelter in the shade of his lotus feet to enjoy the transcendental rasa of nuptial love. The complete treatise Krishna Karnamrita is dedicated to the transcendental pastimes of Sri Krishna and Srimati Radharani. It is a book to be read and understood by the most elevated devotees of Sri Krishna. Verse 58. Since one cannot visually experience the presence of the Supersoul, he appears before us as a liberated devotee. Such a spiritual master is none other than Krishna himself. Purport. It is not possible for a conditioned soul to directly meet Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but if one becomes a sincere devotee and seriously engages in devotional service, Lord Krishna sends an instructing spiritual master to show him favor and invoke his dormant propensity for serving the Supreme. The preceptor appears before the external senses of this fortunate conditioned soul, and at the same time the devotee is guided from within by the Chaitya Guru, Krishna, who is seated as the spiritual master within the heart of the living entity. Verse 59, one should therefore avoid bad company and associate only with the devotees with the realized instructions. Such saints can cut the knot connecting one with the activities unfavorable to devotional service. Purport. This verse, which appears in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.26.26, was spoken by Lord Krishna to Uddhav in the text known as the Uddhav Gita. The discussion relates to the story of Pururava and the heavenly courtesan Urvashi. When Urvashi left Pururava, he was deeply affected by the separation and had to learn to overcome his grief. It is indicated that to learn the transcendental science, it is imperative that one avoids the company of indesirable persons and always seek the company of saints and sages who are able to impart lessons of transcendental knowledge. The potent words of such realized souls penetrate the heart, thereby eradicating all misgivings accumulated through years of undesirable association. For a neophyte devotee, there are two kinds of persons whose association is undesirable: gross materialists who constantly engage in sense gratification, and unbelievers who do not serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead but serve their senses and their mental whims in terms of their speculative habits. Intelligent persons seeking transcendental realization should very scrupulously avoid their company. Verse 60. The spiritually powerful message of Godhead can be properly discussed only in a society of devotees, and it is greatly pleasing to hear in that association. If one hears from devotees, the way of transcendental experience quickly opens, and gradually one attains firm faith that in due course develops into attraction and devotion. Purport. This verse appears in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25.25, where Kapil Dev replies to the questions of his mother Devahuti about the process of devotional service. As one advances in devotional activities, the process becomes progressively clearer and more encouraging. Unless one gets this spiritual encouragement by following the instructions of the spiritual master, it is not possible to make advancement. Therefore, one's development of a taste for executing these instructions is the test of one's devotional service. Initially, one must develop confidence by hearing the science of devotion from a qualified spiritual master. Then, as he associates with devotees and tries to adopt the means instructed by the spiritual master in his own life, his misgivings and other obstacles are vanquished by his execution of devotional service. Strong attachment for the transcendental service of the Lord develops as he continues listening to the messages of Godhead. And if he steadfastly proceeds in this way, he is certainly elevated to spontaneous love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Verse 61. A pure devotee constantly engaged in the loving service of the Lord is identical with the Lord, who is always seated in his heart. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one without a second, and therefore he is all-powerful. He has inconceivable energies, of which three are principal. The devotee is considered to be one of these energies, never the energetic. The energetic is always the Supreme Lord. The energies are related to him for the purpose of eternal service. A living entity in the conditioned stage can uncover his aptitude for serving the absolute truth by the grace of Krishna and the spiritual master. Then the Lord reveals himself within his heart, and he can know that Krishna is seated in the heart of every pure devotee. Krishna is actually situated in the heart of every living entity, but only a devotee can realize this fact. Verse 62. Saints are my heart, and only I am their hearts. They do not know anyone but me, and therefore I do not recognize anyone besides them as mine. Purport. This verse appears in Srimad Bhagavatam Bhagavatam 9.4.68, in connection with the misunderstanding between Durvasa Muni and Maharaj Ambrish. As a result of his misunderstanding, Durvasa Muni tried to kill the king when the Sudarshan Chakra, the celebrated weapon of Godhead, appeared on the scene for the devoted king's protection. When the Sudarshan Chakra attacked Durvasa Muni, he fled in fear of the weapon and sought shelter from all the great demigods in heaven. Not one of them was able to protect him, and therefore Durvasa Muni prayed to Lord Vishnu for forgiveness. Lord Vishnu advised him, however, that if he wanted forgiveness, he had to get it from Maharaj Ambrish. Not from him. In this context, Lord Vishnu spoke this verse. The Lord, being full and free from problems, can wholeheartedly care for his devotees. His concern is how to elevate and protect all those who have taken shelter at his lotus feet. The same responsibility is also entrusted to the spiritual master. The bona fide spiritual master's concern is how the devotees who have surrendered to him as a representative of the Lord may make progress in devotional service. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always mindful of the devotees who fully engage in cultivating knowledge of him, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. Verse 63. Saints of your caliber are themselves places of pilgrimage because of their purity. They are constant companions of the Lord, and therefore they can purify even the places of pilgrimage. Purport. This verse was spoken by Maharaj Yudhishthir to Vidur in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.13.10. Maharaj Yudhishthir was receiving his saintly uncle Vidur, who had been visiting sacred places of pilgrimage. Maharaj Yudhishthir told Vidur that pure devotees like him are personified holy places because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always with them in their hearts. By their association, sinful persons are freed from sinful reactions, and therefore wherever a pure devotee goes is a sacred place of pilgrimage. The importance of holy places is due to the presence there of such pure devotees. Verse 64. Such pure devotees are of two types: personal associates, that is the parishats, and neophyte devotees, the sadhakas. Perfect servitors of the Lord are considered his personal associates, whereas devotees endeavoring to attain perfection are called neophytes. Among the associates, some are attracted by the opulences of the personality of Godhead, and others are attracted by the nuptial love of Godhead. The former devotees are placed in the realm of Vaikuntha to render reverential devotional service, whereas the latter devotees are placed in Vrindavan for the direct service of Sri Krishna. Verses 65 and 66. There are three categories of incarnations of Godhead: partial incarnations, qualitative incarnations, and empowered incarnations. The Purushas and Matsya are the example of partial incarnations. Verse 67, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are qualitative incarnations. Empowered incarnations are those like the Kumars, King Prithu and Mahamuni Vyas, the compiler of the Vedas. Verse 68, the personality of Godhead exhibits himself in two kinds of forms, Prakash and Vilas. Purport: the Supreme Lord expands his personal forms in two primary categories. The Prakash forms are manifested by Lord Krishna for his pastimes, and their features are exactly like his. When Lord Krishna married 16,000 queens in Dwarka, he did so in 16,000 Prakash expansions. Similarly, during the Rasa dance, he expanded himself in identical Prakash forms to dance beside each and every gopi simultaneously. When the Lord manifests his Vilas expansions, however, they are all somewhat different in their bodily features. Lord Balram is the first Vilas expansion of Lord Krishna, and four-handed Narayan forms in Vaikuntha expand from Balram. There is no difference between the bodily forms of Sri Krishna and Balram except that their bodily colors are different. Similarly, Sri Narayan in Vaikuntha has four hands, whereas Krishna has only two. The expansions of the Lord who manifest such bodily differences are known as Vilas Vigrahas. Verses 69 and 70. When the personality of Godhead expands himself in many forms, all not different in their features, as Lord Krishna did when he married 16,000 queens and when he performed his rasa dance, such forms of the Lord are called manifested forms, Prakash Vigrahas. Verse 71. It is astounding that Lord Krishna, who is one without a second, expanded himself in 16,000 similar forms to marry 16,000 queens in their respective home. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 69 chapter, 2nd verse. Verse 72. When Lord Krishna, surrounded by groups of cowherd girls, began the festivities of the rasa dance, the Lord of all mystic powers placed himself between each two girls. This verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.33.33. Verses 73 and 74. When the cowherd girls and Krishna thus joined together, each girl thought that Krishna was clearly embracing her alone. To behold this wonderful pastime of the Lords, the denizens of heaven and their wives, all very eager to see the dance, flew in the sky in their hundreds of airplanes. They showered flowers and beat sweetly on drums. This is another quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 33rd chapter, verses 3 and 4. Verse 75. If numerous forms, all equal in their features, are displayed simultaneously, such forms are called Prakash Vigrahas of the Lord. This is quotation from Laghu Bhagavatamrita 1.21, compiled by Sri Rupa Goswami. Verse 76. But when the numerous forms are slightly different from one another, they are called Vilas Vigrahas. Verse 77. When the Lord displays numerous forms with different features by his inconceivable potency, such forms are called Vilas Vigrahas. This is another quotation from Laghu Bhagavatamrita 1.15. Verse 78. Examples of such Vilas Vigrahas are Baldev, Narayan in Vaikuntha Dham, and Chaturvyu, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Verses 79 and 80. The energies, that is the consorts of the Supreme Lord, are of three kinds: the Lakshmis in Vaikuntha, the queens in Dwarka, and the gopis in Vrindavan. The gopis are the best of all, for they have the privilege of serving Sri Krishna, the primeval Lord, the son of the king of Raja. Verse 81. The personal associates of the primeval Lord, Sri Krishna, are his devotees who are identical with him. He is complete with his entourage of devotees. Purport: Sri Krishna and his various personal expansions are non-different in potential power. These expansions are associated with other secondary expansions or servitor expansions. Purport: to offer praise to the Lord, one should first offer prayers to his devotees and his associates. Verse 83. In the first verse I have invoked a general benediction, but in the second I have prayed to the Lord in a particular form. Verse 84. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen thus simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. Verses 85 and 86. Sri Krishna and Balram, the personalities of Godhead who formerly appeared in Vrindavan and were millions of times more effulgent than the sun and moon, have arisen over the eastern horizon of Gaudadesh, West Bengal, being compassionate for the fallen state of the world. Verse 87, the appearance of Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Prabhu Nityananda has surcharged the world with happiness. Verses 88 and 89, as the sun and moon drive away darkness by their appearance and reveal the nature of everything, these two brothers dissipate the darkness of ignorance covering the living beings and enlighten them with the knowledge of the absolute truth. Verse 90, the darkness of ignorance is called Kaitava, the way of cheating, which begins with religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. So we will continue from here onwards next time. Thank you for joining. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.